if you go back, say 10, maybe a little bit more like 15 years ago now, there was a prevailing thesis that Southeast Asia was going to be the next like BRICS or next like big region because there was like 600 million people, kind of rising middle class, very low internet penetration, all that kind of stuff. And so like there was a lot of venture money flowing into the Southeast Asian ecosystem. And I mean, just 2 years ago, I think it was Lightspeed that published. It's almost like an apology for like why that thesis was wrong.
Okay.
And a lot of it came out because the markets are just so culturally different,
Mm.
and the labor substitution is so much less um, acute
Mm-hmm.
because I was talking to another founder. He was telling me about the CRM that was like $10 and it did all this stuff, $10 per person per
Mm.
month. And it could do all these things. And I thought, that's amazing. Like, why aren't you using it? He's like, dude, like I pay my guy $200 a month.
Mm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to spend $10 to give him a CRM
It's
to not
extra.
use,
Yeah.
So that was kind of one light bulb moment for me. And the other
Mm.
light bulb moment was just like spending 24 months trying to break into Indonesia, into the Philippines, and so on, and just realizing how different the buying behaviors were in all of these different markets. And just because you've made it in a market like Singapore I don't think that policymakers understand enough about how much each of these different economies function differently. And that doesn't even count like going into North Asia, into like Korea, Japan, China. China as a whole it's spectacularly low spend on SaaS for its size, and you start wondering why. And India for another one, right? Like there's a lot of SaaS companies that come out of India, but if you ask any of them like where they make their money, those that are making money, most of them are out here in the
Mm.
United States, and um, that's just a function of just yeah. I guess it's partly is per capita GDP, maybe partly is just the buying behaviors are different. Again, someone told me this once, like all SaaS is workflow SaaS because essentially you only build a software to make a workflow more efficient if that workflow is consistent. And I think because there's this heterogeneity of workflows in Asia, like with all the different cultures, like it's very difficult, very, very difficult to
Mm-hmm.
have that consistent workflow that works well for every single person. And so all kinds of customization need to come in play. And then that just drags out your product tail um, until the point that it's unfeasible to scale.
So it becomes expensive, basically.
Yeah,
Also.
it's super like capital intensive, and like now it's even worse, right? Like you have a whole bunch of vibe coders out there claiming they can do whatever, and like those of us in the know, right? They're not going to be able to recreate a Salesforce, but to someone in Asia who's maybe pissed off about Salesforce, and this guy comes along and says, "Hey, I can build this for you at a tenth of the price." You're like, why not? I'll give it a shot.